Hey guys, it's Bro You Whack, and here's a summarized picture of Ramattra in Overwatch 2. And here's an even better summarized picture of Season 2 as a whole. This meta has been absolutely trash, with tanks like Doomfist and Roadhog starting to dominate. Sorgen's still absolutely broken even after the quote-unquote nerfs. People's ranks were getting reset at the start of the season to the point where they were dropping a whole entire rank. But above all else, Ramattra, a hero that we all thought was gonna be an absolute broken, overpowered domination of a Hulk-like tank, is more or less like a giant teddy bear. Season 2 is off to a terrible start. After the, granted, Season 1 wasn't that great, but over time, I feel like it's found its footing, and then as soon as it took 2 steps, it fell flat on its face. And while I can sit here and rant about the meta and these heroes needing to get nerfed and talking about how rank needs to be fixed again, I really want to hone in on Ramattra because this is the biggest disappointment of Season 2 that could easily be fixed with hopefully next patch that will release in the next couple of weeks. And while I have countless issues with Ramattra, I think the biggest problem that he's facing right now in Overwatch 2 is that he can't command a team fight other than when he's ulting. You see, I'm starting to see a common theme when it comes to the tank role, and that is whenever you're a bad tank, you can easily get bullied. But when you're a good tank, or even just a semi-good tank, you're not easily contested, you're not easily bullied, you're not easily backing up by supports, by DPS, by the other tank. You see that a lot in Season 1, you saw that with Junker Queen and Doomfist, and all these heroes that don't have sustainability, that are constantly having to back up because either A, they don't have a lot of health, B, they don't have a lot of protection for themselves, or C, they don't have enough damage to just say, no, you're gonna be the ones to back up, no, you're gonna go away. And for Ramattra, he has all of those problems that I listed beforehand. He doesn't have a lot of forms of protection, but that's so funny because he literally has 2 abilities that are supposed to quote-unquote protect him with his shield and his block. But his shield is an absolute joke. It's comparable to a napkin that you find at a little kid's birthday party. And in regards of his block ability, while this is countless times better than his little tiny shield, he still can get easily CC'd or just simply killed if you're using his block as a panic ability. Now, that's a player issue, right? If you're using your block to try to sustain your health, trying to live, and you're dying while using it, then you're using it at the wrong time. But when you get CC'd by an honest sleep dart, in my head, I'm thinking, okay, I'm protected by all the abilities. Oh, I go night-night now. Who would win in a fight? The skeleton-built Omnic god of a hero who reigns supreme over the Omnic race and army, or one sleepy time pointing needle? Then you can say, oh, Skill, you should use the shield to protect yourself from the sleep darts. Yeah, that thing lasts for 4 seconds. There is truly no way to protect yourself or the team as this tank that is supposed to be this protector and this leader. Like, why give up the tank slot for Ramattra when you can either play someone like Roadhog, who can easily get an insta-kill, Doomfist, that can go and get lots of DPS, Reinhardt, that has true sustainability and protection. Not to mention, Ramattra's DPS is probably the most underwhelming part about him. Like his staff, and I don't know if you guys have the same issue, but I feels like I'm not doing a lot of DPS when I'm shooting. His punches is probably the only part that I'm truly getting kills with. They're quicker, easier, and especially if they do have someone like another Ramattra or Reinhardt that puts a shield in front of me, I'm able to still get kills, which I guess in a way that is his special place in this meta, is being able to get past shields. But the thing is, though, that's not what's meta right now, and maybe that's the domino effect that leads to Ramattra not being that necessary and powerful, is that Doomfist and Roadhog is what's meta right now. They don't have any shields, and in fact, they could easily still bully the Ramattra because he has no way to stop them with either a stun, like Sigma's Rock, Roadhog's Hook, Doomfist's Punch. Ramattra just got none of that, dog. He's got mediocre damage, mediocre protection, and a kind of a good ultimate. Like, I want to find one shiny part about Ramattra, and it's his ultimate, because this is a great initiator ult that forces the team to play with you and push in with you because it makes the ultimate last forever. And if you just get a little bit of help from your supports, you should be able to win a team fight. But that's an ultimate. You get his ultimate once every 3 to 4 team fights. That could be said with any ultimate that can help you win team fights. A Grav can help you win team fights. An Earthshatter can help you win team fights. That's the whole point of an ultimate. What about the other 3 to 2 team fights that you don't have an ult? What does he offer that someone else can't? And that's ultimately what we're trying to answer, is what makes Ramattra so special that we have to pick him over these other tanks. Because I feel like when the developers made Ramattra, they tried to make him do so much. Be an off tank, be a main tank, be a shield tank, be a melee tank, be an initiator tank, but be a passive tank, to the point where he does all of that, but not very well. He is the jack of all trades and master of literally none of them. Is he trying to be more like a passive tank like Sigma, where you hold back and do damage from a distance? Or is he trying to be like Reinhardt, where you go and be aggro, swing your hammer, and do damage? And I'll be real with y'all, he doesn't do any of that very well, so let's fix that. I like the fact that he's a high tempo tank, that he can transform into his nemesis form and be super aggressive, but you feel a lot more powerful than you actually are, so we definitely gotta buff his nemesis form, either in the form of giving him more health, because the fact that he only has 600 hit points with just a little pool of armor is laughable. You get only 8 seconds with this ability, and if you're telling me I have less than the amount of health of a Roadhog, whose only beefiness comes from his giant belly, that's gotta change. So either we gotta buff it to like 650 or 700 to give him that sustainability to continue to be aggressive. And on top of that, when he is in his nemesis form blocking specifically, do not let him get CC'd, because you no longer have the shield. Now granted, you can use the shield before you go in your nemesis form, which is what I constantly do, but again, that's stationary. You want to go forward. That's the whole point. It's counterintuitive to place a shield and stay behind the shield when you're nemesis form, so let him not get CC'd. That will allow him to not get easily bullied by these other like supports. He's getting bullied by supports. That's sad. And the other thing that we can buff in his nemesis form is his punches, because this is the most underwhelming part, but this is the most fun part about him. Like the fact that you get 13 punches, I feel like that we can decrease it to maybe 10 punches during that 8 seconds, but buff the punches itself from 60 to like 70 or maybe 80 damage per punch. That way it's a 3-shot hit combo on a squishy rather than a 4-shot hit combo, because what I've come to find is that those squishies are just getting healed up from the punches, which makes me feel useless and stupid going in my nemesis form thinking that, oh, I'm gonna do some damage, and then no, they live. And that's just his nemesis form. We could talk about buffing his omnic form, but I'm very hesitant to list suggestions here, because easy suggestions is to make his shield simply bigger, make it last longer other than 4 seconds, or give it more health. But the thing is though, we don't want another shield shooting simulator. We don't want shields to be the meta. We want shield tanks to be meta and good, but we don't want the shields themselves to be dominating like how it did in Overwatch 1. I think just simply buffing his staff damage, because that at least takes a little bit of skill, a little bit of tracking, and a little bit of aim to be able to unlock. So I think buffing his staff wouldn't be too terrible of an idea. Also giving his omnic form a little bit more health, because he has almost the same amount of health as the Junker Queen. It's laughable how the default state of Ramattra has the same amount of health as a girl with blue hair and a 6-pack, and is someone I would let dominate me. And the final thing that I really didn't talk about this whole entire video is this Revenant's Vortex, because it's such a forgettable ability. Now the whole point of it is not to do damage, which is what a lot of people, including myself, are clearly using it for, but the whole point is supposed to bring people down from the ground, whether it's a Pharah or a jumping Lucio or a jumping Winston, but that really only applies to like half of the roster, people that effectively use jumps. Yeah, the slow is nice and the damage is okay, but they gotta do something with that Revenant's Vortex, and making it last a whole lot longer would be very helpful. I don't want it to do a lot of damage, because we already see that with Sojourn's Electric Ball, where it's able to do like 200 damage, and it's such a skill-less ability. At least here, it has some effect, it doesn't do a lot of damage, and it has a purpose to it other than just do damage. And we need that to last longer, because right now, it just, Ramattra as a whole just does not last that long. The effectiveness of Ramattra doesn't last that long. His shield doesn't last long. His nemesis form doesn't last long. His Revenant's Vortex doesn't last long. His ultimate clearly lasts long enough, and that's the only time that he's actually good, but let's see more of that in most of the team fights that you're gonna be in with Ramattra, because nothing is worse than having a tank on your team that doesn't last long. No pause. And those are just a few ideas that we can make Ramattra hopefully better, more sustainable, and more tanky in the next patch, whether it's going to be a month from now or when Season 3 drops. And I really hope we don't have to wait that long, because I can't deal with this meta, man. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think about Ramattra and what we gotta do to change him, because I'd love to know from you tank players what you would like, because I'm a traditional DPS player, but I've been playing a lot of tank, and those are just some of my suggestions. But I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. More Overwatch 2 videos to come, and bye.